We're back, witches.
It's been a long time.
Welcome. This is Research Rank Repeat. I am one of your co-hosts, Alyssa.
I'm co-host Hannah.
And today we are joined by a special guest who is our first repeat guest on the podcast. You have heard her before if you listened to our previous Halloween movie episode. Our friend Abby is back to join us again.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me back.
Yes. Yeah, we're excited to have you. Hannah and Abby have the same birthday, which today happens to be tomorrow. Which on the day we're recording, their birthday is the next day. So it'll already have passed when you hear this, but
exciting stuff.
We're right around Halloween.
We accept gift cards. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to send one?
Big B gift cards?
Coffee,
anything
Halloween themed.
Yeah. Really anything. We'll take anything at this point.
So today we are back. We had a little bit of a hiatus, a fun time, but we really, really wanted to watch Halloween Town 2. Hocus Pocus 2. Oh my God. We really wanted to watch Hocus Pocus 2 because it came out about a month ago, I think.
When I do the background, but yes, you're close enough.
Excellent. Okay. And we watched Hocus Pocus, the original, last year when we ranked 5 Halloween movies. And so we didn't have the time or the energy to do another 5 Halloween movies. So we were like, hey, let's just watch one. Let's do an addition to our ranking list from last year and see what's going on with Hocus Pocus 2.
That is true.
For a visual aspect, Hannah and Abby are both wearing Hocus Pocus themed sweatshirts. Would you like to describe your sweatshirt to the audience?
Yeah, I have just a black sweatshirt. It just says bunch of Hocus Pocus. And I also am wearing a little moon necklace. A little spooky, add to the element. But yeah, just basic black with orange lettering.
I like it. The moon necklace ties into the movie.
Yeah.
But my sweatshirt, it's white with a picture of Winnie Sanderson and her cauldron and the words, just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% that witch. This was purchased when that Lizzo song was very popular.
Yes.
Of course. Excellent. Excellent.
Oh, and I have Halloween earrings with ghosts, bats, and pumpkins.
Nice. So I do not have a Hocus Pocus sweatshirt. However, I did prepare an altar behind me. I'm also wearing like orangish red eyeshadow, and I have a red hood on, although I'm getting overheated, so I'm going to take that off, and a black shirt. But just for the early aesthetic, I prepared an altar behind me. I've lit 4 candles, all 4 candles that I own. I have a container of salt, Morton's salt, very important. I've got an eye watching us. I've got a cross, protect us from Satan. There's an animal skull right there. That's an actual skull hanging out. I think it's an opossum. I'm not positive on that. I've got a Day of the Dead skull going on here, and then another kind of themed with that. And I have a rock. And that's my altar.
Nice.
I love it. Very witchy.
Yes, of course. I had to follow. I went through a couple different themes, but I thought it was really important to have the salt to protect myself.
Yes, of course.
As we've learned.
That's true. Every time we have a guest, we do a speed ranking just to kind of get you into the mindset. When we did it last year, you did a fall activities speed ranking. So we were like, what's something that you appreciate and that you have respect for? And we thought, well, baking/cooking shows. So we have selected a list. Alyssa's going to read you the list and then just give us your worst
speed ranking.
Best. There's alternate.
Okay.
Here are the cooking baking shows that you're going to speed rank. The Great British Bake Off, Master Chef, Chopped, and Good Eats. Are there any of those shows you haven't seen?
I haven't really watched MasterChef.
Okay. What about Top Chef? Or Iron Chef?
Iron Chef.
Okay.
I have watched a lot of.
Iron Chef. I was going to say the other one is the Barefoot Contessa, if you've seen that one.
I have.
Okay.
That would be at the very bottom of the
that's
list.
fine.
We'll put that all the way down at the bottom.
That's fair.
Because she's boring. Oh my gosh. Those are like 3 of my favorite shows. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. Okay. Iron Chef was a large part of my childhood.
Yes.
As much as I love it, I think it has to be fourth out of those because it's very staged. And I've found out as an adult that they actually like know what their menu is going into it. So it's just much less impressive. Oh my gosh. And then probably Good Eats. I love Good Eats. I like the science behind food. So that's there, but like it doesn't make the top. And then honestly, I can't pick between Great British Baking Show and Chopped. Chopped is my favorite food show, and Great British Baking Show is my favorite baking show. And honestly, they're tied. Like,
Yeah,
I can't pick.
that's fair.
That's fair.
It's a hard pick between the two because I'm kind of the same where if I had to pick favorite cooking show and baking show, it's probably those two. And it's hard to put one above the other. So
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's like apples to
excellent.
oranges.
I
Like
know.
they're so different.
Yes,
is.
they are very different.
Yeah.
Excellent
Okay.
work.
So now I can get into the background.
Yes.
Okay. So Hocus Pocus 2, rated PG, and it came out this year. It's an hour and 43 minutes. It's 6.10 or sorry, 6 can't we're rusty here.
We're rusty.
6.1 out of 10 on IMDb and a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was released September 30th, 2022, so a little less than a month ago, and released exclusively on Disney Plus for streaming. So it was directed by Anne Fletcher, who is actually from St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Fun fact. She was the director of Step Up, 27 Dresses, and The Proposal. The filming took place from October of 2021 to January of 2022 in Rhode Island. They did not film any of it in Salem, which is
Wasn't that where they filmed the first one though?
Yes.
Yeah,
But
but
it looked like the same scenery. So I was like, oh, maybe they
I
did
think
this.
they did, but I thought they filmed some of it in Salem for some reason. I was thinking,
The first movie was filmed in Salem.
okay,
Yeah. So they probably
Okay.
recreated a lot of
The-
that, I'm assuming.
okay. So in 2014, it was announced that Walt Disney was developing a film about witches in which Tina Fey was supposed to produce and star. And rumors started that this was the Hocus Pocus sequel, which turned out to not be true. And also that film was never made because I don't remember hearing about a Tina Fey movie about witches. In 2019, the sequel was announced, and in 2020, Adam Shankman signed on to direct. He's the director of Disenchantment, which is the Enchanted sequel coming out. So in 2021, Anne Fletcher replaced as director because of the director's involvement with Disenchantment. He didn't have enough time to do both, but he stayed on as an executive producer. So John Debney was the composer of the original film. He came back and did the the composing on this film. And the teaser trailer was released earlier this year. It reached 43.6 million views in its first 24 hours. And Disney Plus has reported that Hocus Pocus 2 was the service's most viewed film premiere based off number of hours streamed in the first 3 days of anything they've released. So people were kind of, because Disney decided to only release it on streaming, people were saying maybe that was a mistake and they should have released it in theaters based off those numbers alone. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have. There's no like budget, like the box office, because it wasn't released in theaters, so you can't get that. And I didn't get specific viewership numbers, but that's what I got, unless anyone else has anything to add.
I did have one thing that I thought was just an interesting tidbit. So the first movie has a musical number. I Put a Spell on You. The second movie also features a musical number in one way or another. They both start at exactly 58 minutes and 30 seconds in both movies.
Oh,
which I thought was very interesting. That they were able to make that fit exactly.
yeah,
like,
they must have done that on purpose.
I am
right?
assuming they did that on
Okay.
purpose.
I like it. I kind of agree, Hannah. Like maybe they would have made a lot of money if they had put it
Right.
out in theaters. Because I feel like, especially people in our generation, like we're so excited for that movie.
Yeah.
And like I definitely would have seen it in theaters.
Oh, for sure. Especially because it's released right around Halloween. And a lot of people, like you said, our age and even like younger people at work were telling me like their kids are watching it and stuff like that. So it is interesting, but Disney's weird with what they decide to release streaming and what they decide to release in theaters. So
Yeah.
not that they need more money, but maybe would have worked out for them.
Yeah.
Alyssa, do you have a summary?
I do have a summary.
Okay.
The witches are back. Almost 30 years after they were bested by a virgin, a new one brings the Sanderson sisters back after being tricked into lighting the black flame candle. This time, though, they are seeking revenge against Salem, and specifically the descendants of the Reverend Buster Bluth. Through song, curses, and nostalgic camp, the three sisters ride again.
Love it.
That was great.
Fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
A lot less mention of virgin in this movie.
I did a virgin count because I was curious
yeah.
how many times they would say it in this movie, and the answer is 3. They say it
Okay.
three virgins in this movie
Okay.
compared to what, 40?
Probably 50. Probably 50.
There's also some implied virgin
Right,
jokes
right.
where they don't say
They
it.
don't actually say it, but yeah.
Yeah.
What are your like overall thoughts about this movie? And
Me specifically?
no, it just either.
Oh,
Both of
okay.
us. You can go first, Alyssa.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it had a good amount of like campiness that the original had. It had a lot of nostalgia. They brought a lot of the Sanderson sisters back. Billy came back. It was the same actor who played him in the original. They had a lot of references to the past. So like they had a black cat and they're like, is that you, Thackeray? Like they had like on one of the televisions, they were playing Hocus Pocus like in the background.
I caught that.
Yeah, so I liked a lot of the like the little references here and there. I thought the humor was pretty well done. There were a few things here and there that I was like, okay, this is like, for instance, there's the scene where they're in Walgreens. I liked it, but I felt like it went on for like a little too long. Like it was just like a little too much. But I liked like the updated things that they didn't know, you know, how they're kind of like trying to explore things like, oh my God, a sliding door. Like, how do we get through? Or Siri. Like, I thought that was smart, like to update it, you know, since it's almost been 30 years since the last one. And there's a lot of new technology that they wouldn't know about. I thought maybe like the only not positive was the plot was a little like not as good as the first one. I don't think it was bad, but there are a few things here and there that I was like, it's fine. I know that the ending was re-scripted and rewritten because it did really badly with test audiences. And I'm curious what the ending was because I liked this ending, but like just in an overall plot sense, I thought that like it wasn't as strong as it could have been. So that would be like my one thing that I was like a little iffy on, but overall, I would say I'm glad they made it. I thought it was fun. All the actors seemed like they were having fun and they like wanted to be in their roles and like being the sisters and the characters and stuff. So
Yeah, I really liked it. I appreciated the like origin story of the Sanderson sisters. I thought that was cool. You know, you don't really know why they do what they do. They're just witches. Like it's interesting to like find out how they became witches. And I thought it was cute how they incorporated that into like the modern day witches with her Becca and her coven that they discovered on her birthday. And I thought that was cute. Yeah, I really liked all the references to the old one. I thought it lived up to the old one. Oh, I agree with like the plot was not quite as strong as it could have been. Like I feel like there's a lot more action in the first one and it's really fast paced, and this one seemed really short. Like it was like all these things are happening and then the movie ends. It's like it just ended very quickly. So yeah, I agree. I wonder what the original ending was.
Yeah, I think the ending did feel a little bit rushed because I noticed I checked the time because I was trying to see if I had time to go somewhere before dinner, and I was like, there was like 15 minutes left, and I was like, that seems really short because it felt like there was a lot left to wrap up. I think though the getting the origin story and getting where you feel sympathy for them makes for more compelling villains. Because I think in the first movie they're compelling, but like Abby said, you don't know why they're doing what they're doing. You don't know their motive. And I think the way they ended the movie with like, I was like, oh, I actually feel sympathy. And it was like really heartfelt, and I wasn't really expecting that ending. But I liked it. But I think it makes them more compelling as villains. And I agree with what you guys said. The plot's not as good as the first one, but the humor itself is good, and it's updated humor. I think that even if they'd made this movie and it wasn't that good, I still would have been glad they made it just because it's fun. It's fun to see like a movie that you watched growing up and see it like with the same people and like how they would tell a story in like the modern world, I guess. But yeah, I thought it was fun. I don't think it's better than the first movie, but I think that it definitely, for a sequel, like, it lives up.
Yeah, I also liked that they had the original actresses. I mean, it's nice that they made this movie while they're all still around because
Right.
it's been a long
I
time.
know.
And I thought they did a really good job of like being the same character. Like, I feel like that would be hard to come back to something 30 years later and still be the same person. So I liked that.
Yeah, apparently Bette Midler is the one who really wanted a sequel to be made, which is
It's-
surprising to me, like that of the three that it was her, but apparently she like, because it didn't do well. Like, I don't know if you remember, like it didn't like review well, it didn't do well in theaters,
Mhm.
and then like kind of developed a cult following. And I think at some point she was like, yeah, I had no idea, and like saw like merchandise and people wearing Hocus Pocus themed things and was like, yeah, let's do another one.
It's kind of crazy because every store I've been to lately, I've seen Hocus Pocus stuff, like shirts, hoodies, stuff like that. And so it's interesting that like something from that long ago is like revived, and like even for like a younger generation and stuff like that. I always find that's interesting, and that's cool. It's cool when like people at work are telling me that their like 10-year-old daughter loves Hocus Pocus and Hocus Pocus 2 now. And it's like, that's kind of nice that they got that. But yeah, I'm glad all the people came back. They said too, when I was looking at the background, they tried to get as many as of the like background people, like the camera people and like everyone doing the original movie, because that was what their favorite part of the first movie was, just the whole filming experience. And so as many people as they could that were willing to come back, they tried to bring them back, so they had them around and everything, which is nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
A question I have is there another Disney movie that has drag queens in it?
I know, I was surprised.
I was too. I was like, I don't know. Like, clearly I'm not like keeping up with everything Disney's made recently, but I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cute. I also was really like laughing at the whole costume contest scene, how they thought everyone was like worshiping them. And I thought it was funny that they like didn't make them the winners.
Yeah.
Like, that was funny. There were a lot of like really funny things, like the sliding doors at the Walgreens. Like, that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the bonus scene?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so at the
Oh.
end there was like a little like 10-second clip of the black cat in the store, and it was standing next to a box that said Black Flame Candle 2, as saying there's another Black Flame candle, because there's been rumors that they're talking about doing a Hocus Pocus 3. And so I think they were trying to like leave the door open for that possibility
Interesting.
by doing that. Yeah, it was after the credits.
I never wait through the credits.
I just moved my mouse to see, because I always like, sometimes they just throw one in there, and it was like 10 seconds. But I don't know how I feel about them doing a third movie, because sometimes they get a little too, like, when you go too many movies, it can be a little too much. So I'd be curious about that, but I don't know. They haven't officially said if they're
Yeah,
do
like,
that.
I don't know how they would carry the story on
Yeah.
at all. Like, it seemed like with this spell that took them away, like, it seemed like that was the end. Their original spell of the Black Flame Candle is broken. They're gone for good. Like, I don't want them to bring them back.
Right. And I thought it was a good way to wrap up the film. So I don't know how you would bring them back, and then you have to find another way. I don't know. I kind of would just rather them leave it.
Yeah, and like the book is Becca's now, like this new band of like good nice witches that aren't going to eat children, like
Suck their souls.
Yeah.
My God,
Yeah.
eating the face masks. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
that
So gross.
how and I have to imagine that did not taste
Ugh.
anywhere near good. And like
Yeah.
spraying perfume into your, that was very elf.
I was laughing at the like what really got me in that scene was they started to like drink the lotions. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this has gotten a little long.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think overall it was like a solid sequel. I was not mad about it, and I had fun watching it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was good. Yeah, like an appropriate
Mhm.
amount of like campiness. Like
Yeah.
they kept that pretty well.
Mhm. The Roombas were funny too.
The
Yeah.
Roombas were funny.
And how they came and swept up the salt. That
yeah.
was really funny.
Yes. All right. Did anyone have a favorite character or characters?
I mean, obviously the return of like the Sanderson sisters is like really nice. I did like Becca. I thought as like a younger protagonist in a movie, like I thought she was compelling enough. But I think just the Sanderson sisters in general like are always my favorite just because I love them.
Mhm.
But yeah, I thought Becca was like pretty compelling too. And I liked I can't think of the Tony Hale.
Oh, the mayor.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
some of the scenes were a
Mayor
bit too
Trask.
much. Yeah.
Trask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're a
I
bit
thought
too
he was
much, but
funny.
I
yeah.
like him as
Yeah.
an actor and I think he's funny. So yeah.
Yeah, when I was watching the first part, I was like, is the Reverend? I'm like, is that Tony Hale? I'm like, is that
Yeah.
Buster from Arrested Development? And then it was him in like modern time, and I was like, oh, that's definitely him then. I'm like,
I
great.
totally missed that was the same actor. Like,
Oh,
I did
yeah.
not notice at all that it was like
It was
the
hard
same
to
face.
tell because he didn't
Yeah.
look like it, but when I heard his voice, I was like, oh, that sounds just like Tony Hale. And then I was like, oh, it was Tony Hale.
Yeah, I totally missed that. And then when Winnie like sees his picture and it's like, oh, the Reverend, I was like, oh wait, that is the same
That's
actor. Like it took that's like I totally missed that
That's
detail,
funny.
but it didn't ruin the movie for me. Like
Yeah.
I figured it out.
But yeah, I would agree that like I really like the Sanderson sisters. They're just so fun, and like I feel like all three of them like were their characters.
Yeah.
Like they fell right back into it. I feel like they played them exactly the same way. Although they did remove the like kind of like predatory Sarah Jessica Parker stuff like with the children.
They still kept it though
They kept a little bit, but it wasn't as much because
she did have the like boy crazy moments
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
we could go meet new lovers.
Yeah.
I feel like
and-
they still kept it, but maybe they realized that
they
it's,
toned
like,
it down a
not-
little because
Yeah.
she didn't say let's play with them this time. So like
Also too, because in the
yeah.
first movie they were like teenage boys, so it was like
Right.
a little iffy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel
Gray
like they kind
area.
of toned that aspect down, probably because they understand it's
little bit.
2022 and you like
yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
not the way to go.
What I liked that they did is that they kind of empowered Mary and Sarah a little
Yeah.
bit more, because there was the part where Sarah like gets upset that she doesn't have to sing to lure the children anymore. She's like, that was my only contribution. And I thought that was funny. And then they kind of stand up to Winnie at a couple times during the thing. So I like that they gave them more of a voice. And then at the end, they were kind of all equals, like they all had powers.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess I didn't realize in the first movie that they don't actually have powers.
Yeah, I didn't.
you guys
know
realize that?
either. No,
I always thought that like, oh my god, why am I blanking
Winifred.
on Winifred? Like got the impression that she was the most powerful or the
Right.
strongest of the sisters, but I didn't realize that they didn't like neither of them had like any like couldn't
Right.
do spells and stuff.
Yeah.
But I thought that was more interesting background for them,
Right.
that they
Mhm, I
were like
agree.
just her sisters and she wanted to save them,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which is cute.
Definitely.
And then for like a favorite scene or line, I really loved how when they first come back, they immediately just start singing and they're just performing. And like one of the one friend goes, who are they performing for? Like they're just like running away through the woods. Like, why are they doing it? And they're like, oh, we're doing it for you. Like,
Yeah,
she's
they like
here.
pop up in front of
Yeah.
them. It's
But
like
I
a
thought that
little
was-
mini
I
jump
thought that was
scare.
really funny. I was like, of course, we got to immediately just get into song.
Mhm.
Yeah, because the one girl's like, I can't look away. I can't stop watching. And I was like, same. But yeah, that part was fun. I really liked the drag show scene, like that whole costume contest. I thought it was funny. I just like thought the humor worked well in that scene. I don't think I have a specific line though, but
Mhm.
that scene itself was what I liked.
Yeah, the costume contest was my favorite like Halloween moment for sure. I thought that was really fun. I really liked that scene.
Mhm. I don't even know if I have a favorite. I really thought it was funny when the mayor lost his caramel apple.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh no, the apple. And honestly, I really liked it's not like a funny scene, but I really liked when Becca does her first magic and they get out of the basement.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool because she doesn't realize what she did, but like we can see it and we're like,
Right.
oh my gosh, she's magical. It's her 16th birthday. It's happening.
She's a
Yeah,
witch.
I thought that was cute.
I looked it up because I was curious, but during the like after the costume contest when they put the spell on all the people and they're just like going through dancing through the street, I was like, this seems very thriller. And apparently they were all doing thriller choreography,
Oh,
just like casually.
Huh.
That's
That's
cool.
fun.
that makes sense.
Yeah. I love when the way like Disney always like sticks in little things to
Yeah.
pick up. Like it's hard to see them all, but once you know they're there, it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are we ready to add the movie to our existing ranking lists?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Hannah, would you like to go first?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, so you ranked Haunted Mansion as number 5, Halloween Town as number 4, Beetlejuice as number 3, Nightmare Before Christmas is number 2, and Hocus Pocus as number 1.
I think I would put it between Nightmare Before Christmas and Beetlejuice. So I would put it as number 3.
Okay. Become your
Um,
number 3.
I think that I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Beetlejuice, but I think I can also recognize the fact that it is a sequel and it's the plot's maybe not as strong. I think the plot of Nightmare Before Christmas is stronger. So I would put it as number 3.
Nice. Okay, Abby, are you ready?
Yes.
So you had Halloween Town as number 5, Nightmare Before Christmas as number 4, Beetlejuice as number 3, The Haunted Mansion as number 2, and then you also had Hocus Pocus as number 1.
It's interesting that I had Nightmare Before Christmas as number 4 a year ago. I'm like surprised rehearing my rankings. Regardless, I agree with Hannah. I think I would put this as my number 3. Like it doesn't quite beat Haunted Mansion, but and maybe I would put Nightmare Before Christmas above Beetlejuice now for some reason. I'm like rethinking it, but it's not a good enough plot to be second best out of all of those, but I like it more than some of the other ones. Like I would pick Hocus Pocus 2 over Beetlejuice for sure to watch.
All right. And then for my ranking, I had the exact same ranking as Hannah. I had Haunted Mansion as number 5, Halloween Town 4, Beetlejuice, Nightmare Before Christmas is number 2, and then Hocus Pocus is number 1. And I have to agree with everybody. 3s all around. I would put Hocus Pocus 2 as number 3 in between Nightmare Before Christmas and Beetlejuice. I think that it's a pretty good movie. Don't think it's as good as the first one. And I do like Nightmare Before Christmas more because I think like artistically and just like plot wise is a better movie. But I do think I enjoy and would probably watch Hocus Pocus 2 more than I would watch Beetlejuice. So I think that's why it fits in right at number 3.
Glad we all agree.
Yeah. It was a good movie. I think I'm remembering that I said I don't really like Tim Burton movies in general that much. So that's probably why I put Nightmare Before Christmas down there. It's fine.
I didn't listen to like our actual rankings, like why we decided on things. I just like skipped straight to the end and listened to them read off. So no idea why you decided that a year ago, but it happens a lot, honestly, where sometimes I'm like, I wouldn't have ranked it like that now, but you know, it is what it is at the time.
Yeah.
Can I say, because we did rank the villains?
Yes, I also have those written down as well.
I know I put the Sanderson sisters as number 1, and I think we all did. The original.
No, you're the only person who put the Sanderson sisters as number 1. Yeah, I put them I put the Sanderson sisters as number 3, and Abby put them as number 2 in terms of villain.
That I would actually put the Sanderson sisters in this movie above the Sanderson sisters in the first movie because I think getting the background and getting the compassion part makes them more compelling.
Okay.
I agree. I was thinking to myself that like I remembered not having them at number 1 because you didn't know their background story. But now that you do know that origin story, then like they're definitely my favorite villain out of all of them.
Okay. Yeah. I think I would also put them up either at first or I'd probably put them first or maybe second. Just
your number 1.
So you had the guy, the villain from Haunted Mansion was your favorite villain.
The ghost guy.
Ramsley. So I had Oogie Boogie as number 1, and I had Beetlejuice as number 2, and I would definitely put these Sanderson sisters above Beetlejuice. In the update.
I like the background of villains. Like I need their motivation. So I like they're at the top now.
It's more compelling when you know why they are the way they are.
Yeah. Yeah, I like got really sad at the end when she had to, they're like, you have to give up what you care about most. And then her sisters went away and she was like it wasn't like she was, like some people with like the power, they would be like, oh, this is, that's the price.
Right.
It's okay. She was like distraught. She was
Yeah.
like, my sisters are everything. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't want this.
Yeah, I
That
cry
was-
really easily at movies.
Yeah.
I didn't cry in that scene, but I like felt it. I was
I
like,
know, I felt it
I
too.
like
I was
felt
like,
a
oh, no.
slight tear in one of my eyes, just a little bit, just
Yeah.
watering, a little watery.
Yeah.
mhm.
Which I
Yeah.
did not expect. I was not
I didn't
expecting
either.
that. And then all of a sudden I was like, nope, we're not crying today.
Yeah, like going into this movie, I was like feeling like I had mixed feelings because I was like, I love Hocus Pocus 1. It's gonna be great to see these characters again. But like, what are they going to do different? Is it just going to be the exact same plot as the first one? And I thought they did a really nice job of making it different.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I agree. Because sometimes with reboots, especially like really far removed from the original, they can go really poorly. But you got that Disney money. And sometimes that pays off. Sometimes it doesn't.
It's true.
Now I'm very
Mhm.
curious to see because I don't remember if it's coming out next year or in 2024, but they're currently making a Haunted Mansion remake.
Oh.
And I remember we like very briefly talked about this, but I know they have casted people. Like Danny DeVito is definitely in this movie.
Have they done anything since casting though? Because I think we talked about the
Um,
cast last
We had
year.
talked about it last year. I don't know if there's any. Let me.
Like updates? Yeah. Okay. I kind of forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, so maybe if it's out next year, we could add that to our list.
Yeah,
As
this
the
will be our
second-
yearly birthday tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. She called it
Oh.
yummy.
Yummy.
Apparently,
Yummy.
the movie is yummy.
All right, I'm ready for it. I haven't seen
uh,
her in anything lately.
Oh,
I feel like
she
she's
was-
kind of making a
yeah.
comeback.
She was
Yeah.
in Knives Out in like 2020, which I love that
Never saw
movie.
it.
She's
Is it good?
also
I've never seen it.
it's really
good.
good. But she also is in the one it's like called Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I've heard is
Oh.
really, really good, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet.
Honestly, one of my
oh.
favorite movies of all time is Freaky Friday.
Oh, classic.
Did you guys do Lindsay Lohan?
Yes, we
rankings?
did.
Where'd
We
you put
did.
that one?
Freaky Friday, I think, was number 2 for
It was
both
in my
of
top
us.
3. I
It
don't
was definitely in
remember
my
which
top
one.
3.
Like number 2 after Mean Girls, obviously.
think-
I think
Parent
Parent
Trap.
Trap. Yeah.
Parent Trap beats Mean Girls.
I love the
Pa-
Parent
we
Trap.
love, we're obsessed
We
with
we
Parent
love
Trap.
the Parent
I think
Trap.
that's childhood bias.
Oh,
like my
No, it holds
Haunted
up. It's I
Mansion
mean
bias.
sure, but it holds up. It's still a good movie.
I
I'll watch
watch
it
every time it's on TV.
any day of the week. I'll watch it.
I'll
Yeah.
admit it. I do like the Parent Trap, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't put it above Mean Girls.
Yeah. But so apparently it comes out August of next year.
August.
So
All right.
yeah, we'll have
next
to
Halloween.
next Halloween we'll have to
Haunted Mansion.
we'll have to revisit Haunted Mansion.
I hope it's good. I put
I
a
was gonna
lot
say,
behind
yes.
my love of Haunted Mansion,
really
so
did.
it better be good.
Melissa roasted it.
We-
like
yeah.
it's last.
Yeah.
You guys didn't give it enough of a chance.
Well,
have
to,
to
be
rewatch
fair,
it,
we
I
had
don't
a
know.
bad theater experience, so that kind of like, sets the bar right away, I think.
Had a bad
Yeah.
taste in my mouth from Haunted Mansion.
But
the
I
first
think
time.
we all mutually agreed, at least Hannah and I agreed it was better than we thought it was going to
I
be.
did. I did.
Yeah,
That's
that it
good.
wasn't as bad as we had remembered it. So, that's something.
That's good. I remember strongly hating Halloween Town last year when we watched all these.
Halloween Town was a lot worse than I remember.
It was
being,
so
honestly.
cringy.
I mean, it's just like,
It's really cheesy,
it's
Yeah.
very cheesy.
but not in
very
like a way that
cheesy.
holds up. Like
hey, chocolate bar.
Yeah. Yes.
it doesn't hold up. That
Oh
well.
my God, chocolate bar.
Yeah.
What a
Oh,
villain.
gosh.
What a villain.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
Well, thank
That's
you
funny.
for joining us. I'm glad we could make this work. It was
I
a kind of a
know.
last
Yeah.
minute decision and asking and whatnot. So
all good. It was
Yeah.
fun. Thanks for having me.
Mhm.
I love excuses to watch Halloween movies, so
Right.
that's
I
fair.
was fine with it. I
Right.
haven't watched Hocus Pocus 1 yet this Halloween.
I'm
so-
I
watching
haven't
it
either.
tomorrow on my birthday.
Yeah.
So
Oh, nice.
my
Yeah, I
friend's
have not
never
watched
seen
it.
it, so I'm like, we're absolutely watching it.
Yes,
Yeah,
for sure.
so.
Yeah, someone I work with had never seen the original, and I was like, you have
I
to.
know.
It's like, you gotta
Yeah.
see it. The amount of versions. So many.
Virgins.
Well, okay, now I gotta remember how to do the outro.
Are we supposed to sign off?
Yeah, so you can
Wait, how do we end our podcast? Okay, I got you. Thank you for listening. If you want to reach us, we have an email, r3podcasts@gmail.com. We also have Instagram, Twitter. I think that's it.
Yes,
But yeah, we'll be back. I'm not going to say next week because that's not true.
that's not true.
We'll be back eventually.
Yeah, we'll have our next actual episode. We'll have an intro. We'll kind of talk about our kind of new schedule that's going to be happening going forward. But you'll hear from us soon. We're not dead. We're not gone. We just took a really long hiatus and we woke up from our crypt in October ready for Halloween.
Bye.
Bye.
We would like to thank Joseph McDade for our intro music. He provides free music available for all kinds of creative use. The song that we used is called Sunrise Expedition, and you can find it and his other music on his website, josephmcdade.com. If you would like to reach us, you can email us at r3podcasts@gmail.com. That's R, the number 3, podcasts@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Instagram by searching Research Rank Repeat.
I didn't tell you, Hannah, but when I got lunch with Abby, I almost didn't give her the microphone.
Oh my God, yeah,
it was
like
bad.
we
The
said
whole reason we
goodbye.
met, yeah.
I almost got in my car and I
Yeah.
was like, wait.
Can you
The
imagine?
microphone. The whole reason we're meeting right now.
God.